somebody sent me this thing here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Which led me to many thoughts today, right? Actually, it really did. Where is this? Doing. So who is this guy? I kind of think I know this guy from somewhat. Where am I? There you go. Over here. There you go. Share screen. Share screen. It's a Chrome tab. Was it WhatsApp? No, it was. Here we go. Fine. So there's a guy called Jeremy Gimple. I think I know him, right? So these are like quick videos, but he's talking about the two hostages that were rescued recently, right? Which was I'm very happy that they were rescued, right? I really am. It wasn't like the raid on Entebbe. And look, no diss to the brave soldiers. 3 people died. And a bunch of Palestinians, I'm sure, died, in this operation. But it wasn't like, look, they rescued 2 hostages. We're very happy about that, right? But okay. So his point is this: that Javier Milei, who is the greatest politician ever, right? Big lover of of Lubavitch and Lubavitch Rebbe. Now, Lubavitch are a interesting sect of Judaism. They're actually, if you ever want to know anything about Jews, Lubavitch is your best place to go to, because this guy died in 98 or something like that. Rabbi Schneerson. He's they have like outreach everywhere, right? You go to any city in the world, you look for the Lubavitch house, right? The Chabad house. They're also called Chabad, that's where you get kosher food. It's a incredible resource for religious people. So anyway, Javier Milei, very, very big into Chabad, right? And he came to Israel, and he's like, he really wants to convert to Judaism. We're like, Javier, mate, Javier, do you like being hated by the whole world? Maybe Judaism isn't for you, right? Yeah, right. So he came and he had this prayer. And his prayer was for the release of hostages, he said, right? And then the next day we had those hostages released, right? And I would like to think that was true, right? I would like to think that was a factor in. But then it really brought up a thought in me, right? That what does God look? Here's my basic default programming. Is like, what does God want me to know from this, and what's my next step in serving God, right? That's really my default programming on every decision, right? You go to every decision making process, it really boils down to that. So when I look at things like this, what does God want me to know about this? And it was I don't think he's super duper pleased with us, right? When I say us, I mean the Jewish people, right? Because October 7th was horrific, was absolutely horrific. It was, we Jews have been in exile for a couple of thousand years, and every element of that exile was displayed on October 7th. So, our... I don't know if it's the most useless institution in the... I don't think it's that bad, right? I mean, I think there's probably more useless institutions, but our rabbinic leadership, right, our spiritual leadership, since then have been completely vacant, right? Firstly, if we had real spiritual leadership, I remember my Rosh Yeshiva, the rabbi in charge of my rabbinic seminary. I mean, he was great, but they just don't make people with that kind of outlook anymore. When he said, look, you will look at the world, and you look at all these terrible things happening, and he said, look, if we are the chosen people, and we're chosen to essentially act as a conduit between man and God, right? Between humanity and God, right? The priest of God, which means the basic job of Jews is to bring Judeo-Christian morality into the normalcy of the world, which over the last few thousand years is pretty much what's happened. We went from a idolatrous pagan world to I think Islam and Christianity have a lot of the Judeo-Christian jurisprudence the base they have the basic same underpinnings, right, of a commitment to doing the will of God, right, and a belief that God is intrinsically good, right. I will say they're probably the most two important things, and I think that's found within all religions. So and again, that wasn't the way when Judaism began back it was a much more big. However, so I just don't think God is super duper happy with us, and because we have so Jews keep kosher, right? Jews don't eat bacon, or if they want to keep kosher, they don't eat bacon. They have to kosher food. There's a billion different laws about it. If you have like meat, it's got to get killed slaughtered in a certain way, in a kosher way. There's got to be stored in a kosher way. There's a billion different laws for kosher, and generally speaking, people have a goal, an attempt to keep those ideas, right? To keep those laws. But I think far more importantly to that, we have the laws of treating each other well, judging each other favorably, not talking shit about each other, right? I think that's really an expression of the centrality of not just Judaism, of every Judeo-Christian moral standard. So we're taught in kindergarten the reason that we experience this exile is because we sucked at being interpersonal respect, right? We just like that. So I heard the story say that this is what got me thinking of this, but these things put together. I listened to this daily study program called Daf Yomi. So the guy giving it is Eli Stavansky. Very, very good person to it. He's good. He's got a good rapport. So he said this parable, the story, right? There was a guy, this is back in old Jerusalem, like 100 years ago, and he saved his money and he bought himself a gold coin as kind of like his savings account, right? So he had everything in this one gold coin that cost $200,000, something like that, right? And then his young kid found found the coin and thought it was just one shekel, one penny, and went and bought a candy with it. Right, so the guy went to the candy store and says, "Well, so your kid gave you a gold coin. It's like $20,000 or $200,000 a year for like a 10-cent thing. Can I have the change, please? Can I have the coin back, please? That would be nice." He's like, "What are you talking about? You just paid me a shekel, right? Just pay." So they go to Jewish court, right? They go to Jewish court, called Beit Din. And they say, okay, so now you've got to take. They say to the shop owner, you have to take it's called a shavua. You got to swear, right, that you didn't receive that you only got a shekel. He said, well, I can't. I don't swear. It's like we Jews have we treat swearing very seriously, right? It's like a real big deal. So and there's a lot of people in the tradition. They just won't do it, right? He says, so I have to pay you back. I don't have the money. We'll have to do it in payments, right? Something more. So after that, everyone in the local town says, oh, you hear this guy? Obviously he's guilty. That's why he wouldn't swear. Obviously, and they boycott his shop and they cancel him, right? They cancel him. Then about a year later, a guy walks up to the father who lost the coin, right? And he says, I'm here to apologize to you. That I was homeless. I was on my knees. I saw the coin. Your son with the coin. I traded him for what a penny because I was desperate. I have the money. I'm going to pay you back right now, and I want to apologize. I needed it desperately, right? So in the story, right? Who is facing any problems in terms of their relationship with God? So it's not the father, right? It's like, where's my coin gone? It's been stolen from me. He told the truth all the way. The kid, you can't blame because the kid's wasn't old enough to give testimony. The storekeeper, no, again, very righteous person. He refused to swear on religious grounds, right? And paid him for what he didn't have. So not him, not the poor person, because he returned the coin and apologized. Everybody gets off free, in that story. Everybody gets off free apart from one person, one group of people. That's all the all the people in the town, all the Jews in the town that cancelled this guy, right? Then there's no excuse, right? They're screwed beyond screwed. And I think that's a real central part of October 7th, right? That we have no conception, right? Like there's no conception of a conception of a conception of keeping these interpersonal laws. Like it's just like, and I know with cold hard fact, right? I've had people look at me dead in the eye and said, "What? You believe that stuff? You do that?" They looked at me like, "What? Why would anybody be upset by it? Why would anything like that be a problem?" It's just a complete societal hypocrisy and abandonment of the centrality of Judaism, right? And the reason that we're told that we live in this gullet, this exile, which is again October 7th, is this exile, right? It is everything is distilled into like a day, a 6 hours, whatever how long it was, right? Everything was there, right? And the more that you learn about it, the more awful it is. And yet still our response like I said, my rabbi Noah Weinberg, I remember him saying, there's a volcano eruption or an earthquake in Calcutta, and hundreds of people are dead, thousands of people are dead. You got to ask yourself, what did you do wrong? What did you do that would bring this terrible judgment onto the world, right? What did you do to do that, right? So yeah, he's very into taking personal responsibility. The rabbis have done none. I mean, and firstly, the first thing they should have done after people like, less freaked out or more used to the situation is to take full responsibility. They say, we are the spiritual leaders of the Jewish people, right? Of this community, of that community, whatever. We are the spiritual leaders. We clearly have a lack that brought this terrible punishment onto us. And it was a terrible punishment, right? Nothing like that. Because far more scary than October the 7th, right? And then all the rapes and the murders and the burnings of babies alive and the beheadings, far more scary, and the kidnappings and the continued rapes and the soldiers that died and the tens of thousands of Palestinians that died. Worse than all of that is taking responsibility and possibly admitting, suggesting you might have done something wrong. Man, they run from that. Right? They run from that. It's crazy. Like that's their sole function. It's the most insane thing. It really it blows my mind. So anyway, so I saw Javier Milei, right, have his prayer answered to rescue 2 hostages. I said, how does his prayer get answered for 2 hostages? And all of us together, we're praying, and nothing, right? Nothing. I think God's trying to tell you something. Right, I think God's trying to tell you something as a nation that you need to wake up. Right, as a nation, we need to wake up and we need to decide. And I'm not talking about the not religious people, right? Although the not religious people, they've woken up big time, right? They've woken up big time. I'm going to show. We'll look at a video of that in a second. One second, see if we can find it. It's like I'm talking about the religious people. They need to wake up. They need to. They need to decide, do they believe this crap or not? Because I think we're in biblical times. Like, what about October 7th didn't seem biblical to you? It seemed pretty biblical to me, right? It did seem pretty biblical to me. It's hard to understand. I want to say this YouTube. I think download.net is the one you use. Savefrom.net. But on the other side, right, while I look at my tiny corner, like the religious world, actually it's I'll say the religious world, which is a small percentage of world Jewry, which is a teeny percent of the world, right? And you go, what is wrong with you losers? Again, I speak about this all the time because I genuinely think all the terrible things we have going on in the world now is really about that, right? I really do. And I think it's just going to get worse because, man, we're not in the ballpark of thinking about these things, right? It's bizarre. Again, October 7th was an opportunity, I think, for communities to come together. And it's an opportunity that in our community, anyway, we have just totally blown, right? We used to have such an incredibly close-knit community. We really did, that cared about each other. Right, and that was all destroyed by this, the ex-rabbi who liked to talk shit about people all the time. That guy, right, which was completely socially acceptable. Like the only time he crossed the line is when he talked shit about everybody in one go. Right, at that point they're like, "Oh man, no, he's talking about me." I got it. But I think if you were horrified by that desecration of Torah. Right, that desecration of Jewish value, God wouldn't need to have brought the horror that was October 7th. I think October 7th as well. You don't know you don't know how to scream and cry when something terrible happens. I'll give you something that you know is terrible. Right, I really genuinely do think that. However, on the upside, right, we see an incredible awakening of a much larger part of world Jewry, which I think this seems to be part of the plan. I think, and it's exemplified by the wonderful Michael Rappaport, who I had no idea was Jewish, right? I just thought he was an arsehole. Now I'm like, more Michael Rappaport. Check this out. This is awesome. One second now. Doink.
I'm in Gush Etzion. That's the sea. That's the sea. Over there is Tel Aviv. That's the sea that you are talking about.
I mean, again, he just kind of cuts through that bullshit. Yeah, that is the sea. Because it's actually know reasonably well.
Walk with me. That's the river. Over there, past Jordan, is the river. All right, that's the river. That's the sea. From the river to the sea. And I'm on the high mountains. First of all, you're not getting all this, you think you're getting from the river to the sea?
Yeah, they're talking about Biden recognizing Palestinian statehood by beginning of summer. It is never going to happen. Never. I mean, I can see it happening, but I doubt it will go down. I doubt it will go down because, firstly, I think there'll be a war with Lebanon by then. Secondly, I'm hoping Messianic age, baby. Oh, yeah, please, Messianic age. But look, the White House is just being run like a joke. Thankfully, they've committed too much to this position right now. Anyway, so they're saying, oh look, they want to have a peace plan. The problem is this, and I do somehow somewhat hear this position. How on earth can we possibly give anything good to the Palestinians? Which was essentially will be them seeing them as rewarding October 7th. They can't get anything good out of October 7th, right? I mean, I think if they all club Hamas to death, themselves, we can talk. But other than that, no. So what Michael Rappaport was saying there, it's not happening. It's not happening.
That's not happening. And this idea of two-state solution, if we give you this, you see what you're on top of? You think you give terrorist cocksuckers a view of Tel Aviv?
I guarantee you, on October 5th, he would never have thought this in a million years. But, God bless him.
A view of Jerusalem to shoot and shit at the people of Israel?
He's so patriotic. It's like, I'll teach you a Jewish word. Unkeveling. Michael, you're giving the rabbi nachas, and that's a good thing. Nachas. I'm schlepping nachas from you, Michael. Good boy there.
It's not fucking happening. There's no giving of rivers. There's no giving of you dumb fucks, you.
I can't argue, right? I can't argue. Meanwhile, in England, the British are discovering that the Muslims and left-wing people are a bit anti-Semitic. They're like, really? Oh my gosh, I had no idea. I mean, there was us telling you for the last, I don't know how many years. Listen, importing people from Iraq was probably a bad, in the wake of them running from ISIS was probably a bad idea, in that it's a very different culture.
My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.